You must have other people around you who are also working on their self-development. When you are leveling up and doing better for yourself as a woman, it's important to surround yourself with other people who are also doing that. Doing so will allow you to avoid a lot of the jealousy and envy that comes with leveling up and bettering yourself. If you surround yourself with people who are always shooting the breeze, just sitting around talking about other people, just going about being busybodies in everybody else's business and not accomplishing anything for themselves, it's only a matter of time before they develop disdain and animosity and jealousy toward you. A woman who is focused on her self-development will always be a target for a jealous, envious woman and man alike. But when you surround yourself with people who are always learning, they like to learn new things. They like to try new things. They like to do things that are going to help them, be it spiritually, mentally, physically, financially. If you're around people who understand the importance of doing better for themselves and working on their self-development, you can avoid a lot of the issues that come with leveling up and becoming a more confident woman. When you do not do that and you try to still be around those kind of lowbrow kind of people who don't really care about learning new things, they look at it as a waste of time. They're very complacent. They're very stagnant. They look at any sign of improvement as somehow trying to be better than what you are. Those are the very type of people who are going to hold you back. Now, I'm not saying that all people who don't have a hyper focus on self-development are not valuable in some way. That's not what I'm saying. Everybody's focus is not to level up and to better themselves, unfortunately. For me, as a woman, especially as a grown woman, I see learning and evolving and becoming better as something that is absolutely necessary for any woman and man alike. But there are some people who are taught that, you go to school, do your 12 years, and then learning stops. They look at it as if, I did what I had to do, so now I'm done with that. I'm just shooting the breeze. Those will be your people that you see maybe sitting on the step when you go to work, and when you come home from work, they're still sitting on the step. Or the people you see sitting in the park in the morning, and they're still sitting in the park. Those people who are just kind of floating about, letting life happen to them. And when some people who have that kind of lifestyle, have that kind of attitude about life, they will take issue with women who are working on their personal development, working on their self-development, working on their intellect, working on their physical features, working on their mental. People who have no goals, that's pretty much the point. People who don't have goals for life will often take issue with women, especially jealous women. They will take issue with women who are always working on themselves. They don't understand how important it is for a woman to always be growing in some way, whether it be in your intellect, your spirituality, in your finances. There are some people who stifle their growth in their finances simply because they refuse to learn. Stubbornness will often stop people from growing and developing in the very areas that they say they want to grow in, and it's simply because they are intimidated by trying new things. And they are intimidated often by people who try new things. People who normally have jealousy and envy and feel threatened by other people, especially jealous women who are threatened by other women, they're often fearful to try new things, and they get jealous of the woman who stepped out and actually tried something different to better her life. These will be your women who say things to you like, oh, you think you're better now because you're doing this. How dare you do this? Who do you think you are? And if you are the type of woman who does not want to stay in a rut, like you change up your routine, you change up your habits, simply because you want to be a better type of woman. You don't want to have the same kind of life as everybody that you came up with. Some of us, especially us 70s and 80s babies, we grew up in very complacent households. We grew up in very complacent and stagnant environments where people had their routine. It wasn't getting them anywhere. It was just getting them by. And when you develop as a woman and you realize that you desire to not just get by, but you want to get ahead, you want to do well and very well, you want to be comfortable, The people who have that lowbrow mentality, that poverty-stricken mentality, that struggle type of mentality, they're going to take issue with a woman who dares to step outside the box, who is not content with just getting by. And that's the reason why you want to make sure that you're not surrounding yourself with people who have that stuck, stagnant mindset. And I know to some people, this might sound like you're being elitist. It might sound like you're, being exclusive. You're trying to exclude certain people. And it's not that you're excluding that group of people. You're excluding that group of people who have jealousy and envy towards the next person who is trying to better themselves. Not all people, don't get me wrong. Not all people who are not all people who are kind of like stagnant, complacent, where they're just content with very little and they don't try for much. While they might be a little stagnant, that doesn't mean that they're automatically going to be jealous of somebody else. Some people are very content with just not trying. They just want to just be. They're just, I do what I have to do, nothing more, nothing less. Or if I just get by, I'm content with that. There are some people who are like that, and there's nothing wrong with it. The issue comes in when you yourself become the type of woman who works on herself and personal development, and you're doing better, and the people who you were around who were accustomed to you not doing that well or not really caring about learning and elevating and things like that, what you will often see is that they develop jealousy and animosity towards you simply because you are now trying to do better. There's nothing wrong with being a woman who works on her personal development. And this is often something that we were not taught as teenagers, as kids, to work on personal development. And I have to say, especially in the Black community, we weren't really taught, and I'm speaking from my own experience and what I have seen in my community, we weren't really taught to strive for the very best. We were taught to take care of the bare basics and to get by. And a lot of us were always trying to identify and appease certain groups of people. And I'm going to leave it at that. We were always trying to make sure that they found us acceptable in some way. So we wanted to make sure we dotted our I's and crossed our T's as to be just acceptable enough to the others. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm hoping you can read into what I'm saying. But back to the original point, when you are a woman who works on her self-development, you want to surround yourself with other people who also find self-development, personal development important. You don't want to surround yourself with a bunch of people who look at your studying, who look at you, going to seminars, look at you paying for coaching, look at you going to school, look at you listening to YouTube podcasts as somehow, oh, why are you listening to that stuff? You're not going to be like them. You're never going to be able to accomplish that. They have a very pessimistic outlook on life. And I can tell you right now, surrounding yourself with people who have a pessimistic outlook on life is not going to help you get ahead as a woman. It's not going to help you evolve. It's not going to help you grow mentally, spiritually, and it's definitely not going to help you grow financially, because people who tend to think like that never really elevate financially. They never really have the things that they need, not because they can't with a little effort and time and ambition, but it's because they have the mindset that I don't need all of that. I don't need all of this. I don't need. And while you might not need a lot of extravagant things, just knowing that you have the skills and the talents and the abilities and the freedom to be able to do whatever it is, for me, by the grace of God, that you need to do, there's something liberating and freeing about that. But people with a stuck, stagnant mindset, they won't even allow themselves to think that far ahead. They won't even allow themselves to think that high. And when you are the type of woman who has that kind of mindset, especially if you're a spiritual woman, if you're a Christian or a believer, and you believe that you can do all things through Christ, who gives you strength, you believe that you can do whatever God places in your heart to do, some people will find your optimism threatening. They will be jealous by the fact that, you have a little bit too much hope. You're being unrealistic. That's where you have some people who are stuck and stagnant. They like to say you're delusional. You're not in reality. You're not being realistic. You can't do that. Look at where you are. Your surroundings dictate everything that you do. People who have that kind of mindset tend to get very jealous of those who are doing better or trying to do better for themselves. So when you begin to elevate as a woman, you want to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are also working on their own personal development in some type of way. And it doesn't have to be something that you're paying for. It doesn't have to be something so involved. But if you're the kind of woman who listens to YouTube videos for how to build wealth, how to build finances, how to build your femininity, how to operate as a woman, how to carry yourself as a woman, you know, something just to make yourself better, but you have other people in your circle who are just looking at the gossip channels, who are just looking at violence and things like that. They don't have any interest in developing and bettering themselves. I guarantee you, if they're a jealous spirit, if they're an envious spirit, they're going to try to make it hard for you to watch those things and like those things that actually help you, simply because their mindset is kind of low. They have a very stuck kind of mindset. And the last thing you need when you're trying to develop and grow as a woman is somebody in your way making fun of the things that you like that are helping you, or trying to hold you back in some way. So ladies, when you want to elevate, no matter what it is, you cannot surround yourself with people who are going to hold you back with their stuck and stagnant mindset. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.